Now it's time, snuggle up, little one.
In 1994, a radio show titled Bedtime with Barney would air spanning multiple radio stations across the country. The show, hosted by Barney himself, originally aired primarily on Sunday nights until eventually being upped to 5 nights per week. Throughout the 10-minute show, Barney would read out bedtime stories to kids as it would normally air at the start of night. Over 40 different bedtime stories would be read out by Bob West as Barney up until the show's conclusion the year following. Also in 1994, the Lyons Group would secure a deal with NBC, allowing Barney to premiere a new video special in a primetime slot. Continuing with the theme of preparing children for bed with story reading, as well as the time this new special would air, the new outing was fitted with a name best suited for its premise. It would land on television, premiering live on NBC to millions on April 24, 1994, under the name Bedtime with Barney, Imagination Island. To add on to this, in the same year, the Lyons Group planned and set in motion for a live concert show similarly to the one held at the Majestic Theater 3 years prior, but this time at New York City's Radio City Music Hall. With this Broadway spectacular, as well as Barney's upcoming primetime special, it seemed like no better time to prepare and unveil a new look for the Purple Dinosaur.
Oh boy, here we go.
The selling of Barney brings in millions to its creator, the Lyons Group. 2 years ago, 6 employees worked on Barney. Now, the company has 250.
Surpassing the year of 1993, the height of Barney mania was upon us. The TV series had been running for just 2 years, the franchise having 5 years under its belt, and toys flying off the shelf. This following year would prove to be one of the biggest and most impactful of the character's lifetime, and with past big events, this meant a newfound change in Barney's appearance. At this point, the Lyons Group required numerous Barney costumes to keep up the demand of the TV series and public appearances. However, the difficulty in creating multiple Barney costumes that looked identical to each other was beginning to show itself more and more to the costume designers.
For a ton of brand new kid-sized fun, you can join Barney.
Each suit had been made entirely by hand with an aluminum frame in the head, molded into the shape of what Barney's skull should look like. This being the case, the crew wound up time and time again with costumes that had the appearance of the Barney we all knew, but with certain aspects being slightly off, some even being deemed unacceptable to be shown on camera for filmed material. This is partially the reason why what we referred to as Star Barney was used for so much longer in official media than it ever really should have been. It was clear that something had to change, some new innovation had to be made. The innovation in question being that of a skull made out of fiberglass. It was thought that if a standard skull in the shape of Barney's head were created and crafted in a durable material as a mold, that mold could then be essentially mass-produced for the benefit of keeping Barney's head being the same shape and fit each time during the creation process. The true test, of course, would be to put it into motion, to see just how well it would hold up in an official capacity. That time would come soon in the form of the 2 specials mentioned earlier. Both of these specials, later released as physical home videos, would make their mark as they both debuted and touted a Barney that became well beloved to the world for the first time. Just as Barney debuted his then new look through the red curtains of a live show back in 1991, the same would happen again 3 years later with a much refined Barney the Dinosaur. Just off first glance, it's very apparent how much sleeker he is compared to his previous incarnations. Right off the bat, we can see the benefits of having that pre-made skull used as a base, as the head already has a more streamlined look. And this even flows throughout the rest of the costume.
Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Whereas before, Barney's eyes had somewhat of a sunken appearance, with dark openings around the eye sockets, the eyes now are plunged more cleanly, nearly eliminating those dark areas, and with the blinking mechanism being much smoother and more active. The eyelids are also much shinier and vibrant, the baggy nature of the body gone in favor of a more snug-fitting sculpt. Everything about the body of this character that may have seemed excessive before has been trimmed down, slightly more compact. the only real oddity about this costume being the mouth, and how seemingly stiff its operation comes across visually.
Tall ships, the open sea, and an island adventure. Wow! Boy, oh boy, oh boy, I'm having fun!
Outside of this, it's genuinely fascinating just how well the design team was able to sculpt the Barney from scratch, improving on its previous evolutions so effortlessly. The fiberglass skull mold would prove so impactful in the making of Barney that it continued to be a mainstay, its next stop being the next season of Barney and Friends. Unlike seasons 1 and 2 of the TV series, airing a year apart from each other, 1994 served as a break from the show to focus on these two other important projects, as well as settling a lawsuit that we're not gonna discuss that today. However, in 1995, the show would return with season 3, and yet another new variation of Barney, or rather, about 3 more.
Oh yeah! Hi everybody!
The main hero costume we see for Barney in season 3 appears prominently during the opening sequence and many episodes including the season premiere.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy!
The differences between this version and what we'd previously seen in 1994 are very nuanced, as the head mold being reused does its job perfectly, keeping each new Barney from deviating too harshly. However, the biggest differences do all lie in the head, and will be the case moving forward, particularly in the eyes. In season 3, you can mainly tell what costume is being used just by how sunken the eyes are placed, the hero suit being more so than the 1994 iteration. This suit is beautiful in its usage, even being used for the cast photo, photographs with the individual kid actors, postcards, TV spots, and promos.
Hi everybody, I'm so glad to see you. Watch me every day on WETA. Boy oh boy.
Despite this, season 3 would be the first to include more than one version of the Barney costume throughout multiple episodes of its run. Another version having the eyes a bit more sunken in appearance, with the face being boxier and a wider mouth, much akin to the season 1 variant. Another costume we'd see later on in home videos from 1996 and 1997 having a similar look to the hero costume from season 3, but with the eyelids no longer being a shiny material and instead covered in the same fleece as the body.
Well, come on, you guys. Look.
The head sculpt made so much of a difference in the history of Barney's official costumes and proved to be a massive turning point. From here onward, although his appearance would continue to change over time, the differences would never be as drastic as they had been in the years prior. Barney has never looked sleeker than he did in the mid-90s, and the team tasked with refining his appearance worked day and night to ensure that the character we all loved looked his best no matter where he went. There's still a lot more to go, but the 90s were truly a special time to be around a special dinosaur.
Imagination's fun for you and me.
Amanda, Austin, Brandon, Chaco, Emilia, Helen, Ian, Luke, Matt, Julia, Savan.